Oh, why did that happen? It just like bumped me off. So there we go. That should be starting right about now. Okay. Okay, hi everyone. If you're watching a recording, do fast forward just about a minute here. We'll get started. Okay. I think I got everything. Let's see. What can you see and what can't you see? That's a question. Oops. All right. Sort of getting there. Why is the screen so teeny weeny? I don't even know. New ring I made yesterday. One ring, two settings. What do you think about that? We're calling it Andromeda. What do you think, honey? No, I'm asking you what you think about the name. Let's take a look at that again. There we are. I'm excited about that. Okie dokie. So we'll start here in just another 30 seconds if you're watching a video. I think I got everything. We're enameling today. Oh, Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Hello, Upper Peninsula of Michigan. All right. So, okay, I got it. Everything is up and running. Got everything I need. Ready to go. Andy's ready to go. Everybody seems to be here. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. It is week 58. This is QTalk Live. I'm QFom Gray, simulcasting on Twitch TV, YouTube, Facebook, and Facebook. So, what are we doing today? Today we are doing Mix It Up Monday. So it's a series of 4 projects where we're making a different focal point every week and focusing on a different technique. So last week we did what I call the startup. So we made a little, we made a little soldered focal point where we had 2 colors of silver, and then you get to add it to the chain. So this week we're doing this one. And I'm going to show you a different technique of enameling. And anyway, sort of fun. You know, hope you guys all had a good weekend and ready to get going and start working again. I know a lot of you are still working on your virtually ever crafting projects, you know, for the nutty ones who signed up for a lot. This is good. Keep posting them on the virtually ever crafting Facebook page. We'd love to see your finished projects or even your works in progress. That's always fun too, to see how far you get with them. I, on the other hand, am getting ready for the next virtually ever crafting in October. I'm just about done with all my projects and waiting for the applications to come in from your favorite instructors. If you happen to know any instructors who are ready to jump into virtual or you'd like to see on the roster, do give them a shout out, send them our way, or send their name to me and I will reach out to them. We are currently recruiting for new instructors. So just to keep it, you know, sort of lively, diverse, whatever. But jewelry making is our focus for now. We haven't gone into other crafts. I'm going to start thinking about that later. Anyway, so, okay. So what do you need for today's project? We're enameling, so you're going to need some enamels. If you haven't started enameling yet, we do have these great kits at theurbanbeater.com, and you can get a whole variety of colors without a huge investment if you're just getting started. But we also have 1 ounce containers up at theurbanbeater.com so that if you do have a favorite color, you can just buy the one color that you like. And you'll need, because we're enameling, you will also need some holding agent or some clear fire, or actually, wait, I take it back. You don't need that for today. You need water for today. So I have a little dropper bottle that I use. You can just, you know, have a little dish of water on the side and some spoons. You know, a lot of people use plastic spoons, but you know how I feel about plastic, so I always keep some shop spoons in my studio. So what that means is these are dedicated spoons that I don't use for consumption anymore and for exactly things like this. And I'm going to show you why I'm using a spoon here very soon. Anyway, a bench pin would be good since we're going to be doing a little bit of sawing. we're going to try to do as little sawing as we can get away with. So then we'll go ahead and use a bezel shear at some point. You'll need a hole punch because we are piercing holes in on the sides here. So we're going to have to start that hole somehow. Hole punch is good. If you don't have a hole punch, a flex shaft with a high-speed drill bit for metal is a good thing. And if you're using a flex shaft, you're going to need a center punch to go with that, okay? A metal file to take down those rough edges, and a paintbrush, and of course you're going to need a torch or a kiln, depending if you are torch firing or kiln firing. And then we're going to put a bend into this metal, so you can use either a bracelet bending plier, or you can use a hoop mandrel with a leather mallet, or you can use a wood dapping block. I think I'm going to stick with the bracelet bending pliers. You know, a friend of mine keeps telling me I need to use these more often, and I'm working on it. But, you know, the more I use these, the more I actually really love them. So maybe you need a pair too. If you are wondering about any of the product that I'm using today, again, you can find them at theurbanbeater.com, or you can look into the details of the video and you will find them there. Andy is posting them in the comments also, so it makes it a little bit easier for you. All right, so the other thing that we are using today is we are using a 1.25 inch piece of 18 gauge copper. Something different. Why am I not using 24 gauge? Well, a couple reasons. One, this is supposed to be a focal point on a bracelet, so it's going to need a little bit, what should I say, some more stability, and I wanted it to be a really rigid piece so that we did not run the risk of breaking the enamel, or that there's no flex in the metal, right? Another thing too is because it's 18 gauge, notice I didn't even bother to, well, A, I didn't bother to clean it, but B, I did not bother to counter enamel it because it's so thick. I don't need to counter enamel it, because the rule is, remember, you cannot have more enamel than metal. And because this is so thick, I don't even bother with enameling the backside. Now, some of you guys might be a little bit more, shall we say, anal retentive, which is fine, and you want to enamel the backside, you can go ahead and do that. All right, so let's jump in. First thing you're going to do is you're going to find the center of the, the center of your disc. And I lost my ruler. You'll need a ruler too. And what we're going to do is we need to cut out these holes on the side. So I'm going to cut a 12 millimeter hole, no less than 12 millimeter from each side. Actually, I'm going to measure first. Let's see. Whoops. So about, what am I thinking here? Not too far from the edge, just something like about 3 millimeters from the edge. So we'll do it like that. We want to keep this even. Oops, like so. And you want this to be about 4 millimeters thick. You know, really, the ruler I had out was much better. So 4 millimeters to the top part. Let's see, there we go, like so. And like so. And then from there, we want to measure out from the center a total of 12 millimeters. So I'm measuring from the 6 millimeter point so that it's even. Okay. Like that. And right to the end. Okay. And then I'm going to just eyeball this into a half moon shape. Half circle, half moon, whatever. It's feeling a little bit big. Wait, did I not do that right? Let's measure again. So where am I? I am here. Ooh, yeah, I measured too high up. See, I knew that was sort of off. All right, so I'm going to do that again. No big deal. I'm going to readjust. Just like so. It was off about 1 millimeter, and I could see that. Because you don't want to go too far in from the edges, right? You don't want to go too far in from the edges because it'll affect your length later. Trust me on this one. Just go with this. All right. So now I'm going to pierce a hole on each side with my hole punch. Again, if you don't have a hole punch, then, and it doesn't matter what size you're using, you can go ahead and use a drill bit on a flex shaft. Okay, there we are. All right. And then we're going to put this into a jeweler saw, and we're going to saw this out. So what we'll do is we'll open this up, slide this in like so, and I always put it to the other end before I put this into my saw, my blade in, and then we're going to tighten it. I'll show it to you from a different angle. Hold on just 1 second. I'm going to switch out my cameras. And here we are. So from here, what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put the back end onto my bench block. Stop shaking. I'm going to open up the back side, and I'm pulling down to my bench. And while I'm doing that, I'm creating tension in my saw, and I'm tightening this. You see? And so now it is nice. Oops, we'll go like that. All right, let's put in that bench pin. Oops. New camera angle, trying to figure it out. Okay, and then a little bit of cut lube. Not everybody uses cut lube, but it's nice. I like it. I think it makes sawing a lot easier. Okay, so we'll lube up our saw blade. You want to put the piece so that it is in between, sorry here, new camera angle, trying to figure this out. I know, you would think that after 58 weeks of this, I would have this completely down, right? Okay, so you want to put the piece in between the V. Okay, so you have leverage on both sides, and we're just going to saw out from the center to the edge, or to your mark, okay? And then we're going to turn it like so. Long strokes, not little strokes like this, but nice long strokes. And we're going to keep our eyes in front of the saw blade. Hold your saw gently, no death grip, don't fight it, and it should be very, very gentle like so. Everything is upside down. So Andy's telling me this camera angle sucks. So hold on, let me flip it, see what happens. Is that better? No. Okay, hold on. Is that better? Okay, let's give that a try. Okay. Thanks for the heads up, everyone. Okay, so there we go. I'm making my churn. All the way to the corners, you can see. And right at the corner, we're going to just saw in place while we churn the blade. This way I can get a really nice tight churn instead of a radius. You can do a radius on this too, that's fine. Okay, there we are. Next one, we'll open that up again, and we'll go to the next one. So, remember to always keep your pattern facing up so you can see it. Of course, we'll put that on the end again, tighten it, put it on our bench. open up the back side and I'm pulling down on it to tighten it. Okay. Then I have to remember which pattern I wanted. I know it's the lower one. I'm sorry, Andy. So the question is, what diameter disc am I using? I'm using a 1.25-inch disc because it's a focal point. You can use a 1.5 if you like to. That works. But you know, I want it to be a little bit bigger, and that's why I chose this size. I know, they're not really easy to find. I actually cut these for the kits. So if you didn't get a kit, you still can. They're still out there and available. And if you're looking for written instructions, we have them out there too. So just go to theurbanbeater.com and look at our classes, and you'll find all the kits and everything that's happening in the next, I don't know, 6 weeks is up there. I just finished up June last night, so I'm excited about that. And I'll be posting that probably next week sometime. Nice long strokes. There we go. Sort of made a happy face, get it? All right, we're going to pull out our needle file. Words on my apron are still backwards, huh? So if I flip it over again, what's going to happen is, oh, wait, let's see. Does that change anything? Ha! How's that? Is that better? So I've got my half round file in here, my little needle file you can see, and I'm just going to file it to ensure a nice shape, nice even shape, whatever. You're going to do this till you're happy. You want to remove any burrs. If you need to sand it, sand it. But you know what's also nice is that we are enameling this, which means, oops, we are enameling this, which means a lot of these edges are going to go away anyway. But I'm doing this to ensure the shape is good. Now, we haven't gotten to this point yet, but you have this piece of wire already in your kit. You got to make sure that it fits, that the width of your hole fits the width of the flat wire that you received in your kit. Okay, that's why we made it so big. Otherwise, you don't have to make it that big. Okay, good, good. All right, so now I'm going to cut this shape. You don't have to. You can leave it round if you prefer round. But I'm just going to take off about 8 millimeters of this stuff, and I'm just going to eyeball it. I know, horrible. Just like so. I say 8 millimeters, but I only cut off 4. Haha. Let's see. Nope. I'll go with a little more here. Again, this is up to you, the shape. And I'm just going to try to do it so it's symmetrical. Pretty close. Take a little more off here. And I'm just using my shears. If you cannot cut this with a pair of shears, then you'll need to saw it. Again, I'm just sort of eyeballing this. And I took off, let's see, how much did I take off? I took off probably about 4 millimeters. The directions lie. If you read the directions today, they lied. So I'll fix that and resend it to you. Okay. I'm going to take off that corner just because I want a nice, just a little radius on that corner is what I like for a shape. Okay. There's my shape. Little tiny bit more filing because I can. And as always, I'm stroking my metal. I'm refining my shape just a little bit here. And I can see that this side's a little flatter than this one. I'm going to fix that a little tiny bit more. There we go. Making me feel a lot better. So someone suggested that I use dental file strips to file really small places. That's actually a really good idea. I'll bet you it's really expensive too. Oh, well, you know, the other thing you can do too is you can, did you see this little trick here? You can get one of these tiny little saws that I can't seem to use, cut a strip of sandpaper, put it in there, and get into those little places, you can imagine. Anyway, that's another trick for you. Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and bend this just like so. Ooh, I like these. Once again, bracelet bending pliers to the rescue. I dig it. Okay. You know, I really should be using these a lot more often than I do. That's about as much of an arc as I want to go. It'll be nice. Oops. It'll be nice on my wrist. You might need to have more of an arch, but I'm not seeing that I need it for myself here. Okay, so you can determine that. I'm going to hit this with a tiny little bit of sandpaper just because I feel a teeny weeny bit of sharpness there. You can do this after you enamel, but I prefer to do it before. Then I don't have to worry about disturbing the enamel. Okay, so from here we're going to clean the piece. Remember, we always need to clean our metals when we're enameling, because if there's any oils on there, that is going to be sort of an obstruction to the enamel process. It won't allow you to enamel properly. All right, so we're going to switch out here again on the cameras and go back. Okay, so to clean the metal, I'm just going to use a little bit of Penny Bright in my hands. You can torch this to green if you'd like to and pickle it. Whatever makes you happy here is what you'll do. I just have a little tub of Penny Bright because it's cute on my workbench and it takes up a lot less space. I know, what do I do with the rest of the stuff? Well, it used to be in my travel teaching case. Well, I guess it still is in my travel teaching case. And when I need some, I just scoop some out instead of having that big container. All right, so I'm going to clean this. Some of you probably saw the back is really awful. It's a very corroded piece of copper. I really don't need to get that clean so much, but I'm here. Let's clean it. What the heck? All right. Good amount of Penny Bright. You can see how nice and clean that is now. You know, I always feel like it's a finger bowl. Oh. Wow. There we are. Let me clean this off. I got Penny Bright everywhere. All right, we'll put it in the apron and shake out the apron later. Okay, something to work on. So this I'm going to do in my hands because it's a lot easier, all right? So now I'm going to take a little bit of enamel. I already ran a test this morning, so that's why my spoons are still dirty. I'm using today Robin's Egg Blue. I'm just going to put a teeny weeny bit in there. I don't even think that's a 1/4 teaspoon. I believe this is going to be considered a smidgen. I don't think it's a pinch. How's that? All right. Let's come in a little bit tighter so you can see what's going on. Little bit of water. See, do you see the difference there, this and this one? Do you see the puddle? Probably not. Okay, you need to have a little bit more water. See, you can, actually now you can see it. Then that. You want to see the water in there. You want to see the water floating around. This is a pretty wet piece to do, all right? 2 brushes will probably be a good thing. And we're just going to swirl this around and take a nice glob of it. And I'm just patting it down and creating a layer of enamel. You can see how much water I have on there, right? Actually, let's come in a little closer so you can actually see that. Can you see how much water is all over it? It's a good thing. We want all this water. But you can also see that I don't have a thick layer of enamel because you can see some of the copper down here. Okay, there's a dirty spot. I'm going to take that off. And what I'm looking for right now, what I'm working for, is I am trying to get the enamel nice and even. So that I don't see any copper and that it looks like an even surface of enamel. And you know, my enamel is not the cleanest because it did come from classes. So I'm just going to take off some of those specks of dirt, I guess you could say, or debris from who knows what. And I'm patting it down just to try to get that out nice and even. Oh, okay, see that? That was patting too much. Whoa. Need a little more water to help spread that. So again, the enamels that I'm using is I'm using Robin's Egg Blue. Opaque will work better here. You can do this with transparent, but I would be working on silver. Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn this around and do it this way. Get the spoons out of my way. And the other color is Peacock. Let's see what's it? It's 1465 and 1410. Okay. But I prefer opaques for this process because it's a little bit more dramatic, a lot more contrast than using transparents. But you can. I would do high contrast for, especially for the design that I'm doing. It seems to work well. You see how I'm doing that? And again, I'm working this so that I don't see any of the copper. Like so. And I'm taking it right to the edge as much as I can. Okay. Can you see how it glistens right now? That's because it has a lot of water on it, and you want that. If you don't have a lot of water in here, it's not going to do what we're about to do. So from here, okay, so I'm just looking. All right, I'm going to do a little bit more robin's egg because it still looks a little shallow. You can see the bit of copper right here. So the question is Robin's Egg the lighter color I'm putting on? Yes. And I know it looks really green. Robin's Egg Blue is a really strange little enamel, okay? And it's not your screen, it's not your resolution as to why it looks green. It is green right now. So the key to Robin's Egg Blue, if you purchased it, is you have to fire it longer, okay? And by firing it longer, it will turn blue. It's a thing. It's a chemistry thing. So the funny story about robin's egg blue is back in the day, I'm going to say like 12 years ago, when it came blue like robin's egg. And then one day it showed up green. And I called them up and I said, hey, I think you guys had a mix up at the factory. I ordered blue. And they said, oh, you need to fire it longer. I'm like, oh, did you think maybe you might want to put some instructions in there so we know? I know, it was a thing. I'm very picky about this stuff. Okay, so here I'm noticing that my enamel's getting dry, so I'm adding water back in. I'm just taking a little dip. I put some water here into my spoon, and I'm just adding a little bit of water, little drips of water to get this wet again. And then I'm going to pull out my, you can use a toothpick or my patented paper clip. And now I'm going to make my design. So I'm dragging the colors like that. Still not wet enough for me. I'm going to drip it on. Screw that. This will probably be better. There we go. The water helps the enamel move to create the look that I'm looking for. Okay? So I'm dragging from one side to the other so that I can make the colors meld. That's all. That's just part of it. Just sort of having fun with this. Moving this around a little bit. See? Could be a little neater about that, but hey. And again, it's already drying up. Let's drag that out a little bit. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, let's see if I can get that to give me a little swirl. There we are. Okay. Cool. All right. You can't fire this way. It's too wet. Let me get rid of all this before we think about firing. Hold on. So you need to make sure that this dries off. You can put this onto a cup warmer if you'd like, and to let it dry. Or you can put this, you can heat up your solder board and create a warmer for yourself, okay? Or you can wick it, and I'll show you how to wick it. Just take a little bit of paper towel and hold it on the end. Can you see that? It's actually sucking it dry right onto the enamel. And this is pretty immediate. And I'm just doing it on the edges, and it just pulls all that moisture out. So, I don't know why, but I love this process. It makes me happy. And you can already see the colors changing because it's drying, okay? I disturbed the enamel a little bit on the edges, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that by applying a little bit more. And we're going to do the wet packing process like we've done before. And I'm just grabbing a little bit onto my brush, and I'm just going to brush it on like so. Just to get those edges nice. If you did not cross-contaminate your enamels in the spoon, you can wick it, let it sit out, dry off, and then put it back into your containers, okay? Don't go wasting that. And if you really don't want to, and because you're not comfortable with that, put it into your counter enamel container. All right, so I need a little bit more, tiny bit more of the blue. right there on the edge, right. That makes me happy. Yes, I'm being a little anal retentive. It is what it is. Okay. Gonna wick it again, make sure it's nice and dry. I don't think you guys can see the water getting sucked up into my paper towel, but let me tell you, it's just so much fun to watch. I was such a geek. And today I'm not even going to bother with the trivet. I'm going to do it right on, because there's no enamel on the bottom, I'm going to just do it right on top of my my mesh. It'll be fine. Just fine. Okay, so you can totally see that it's a lot drier than where it was. Normally I would just go ahead and set this again, set it aside, let it dry completely. Here, actually I have another piece here. You can see the difference, what dry looks like. Okay. And so what I'm going to do, because it's still a little damp, is I'm going to start slow from back here. Okay. And I'm going to dry it manually. You see? Starting from back here, and I can see that the enamel looks like sand. It doesn't look like wet sand anymore. And when that stops looking like wet sand, you can come right up there on the blue tip and heat the whole thing. Now notice how I'm just moving slowly. You don't have to do this. That's just sort of crazy. You got to give it time. If you've been doing the Motley Metal, understand this is going to take a little bit longer because it is 18 gauge. Most of you are going to be doing 24 and 26 gauge, so it's going to take a little bit of time for this to actually come to gloss. So here I'm just going to keep enameling or keep firing until the surface gets past that sugar stage, past the orange peel stage, and it looks nice and shiny and glossy just like that. But because of that robin's egg blue, I'm firing it just a little bit longer so that I can get it to the blue color. Yep, blue. Okay, hold on 1 second for me. I need to not melt my other camera and move that out of the way. Okay. So you can see what a difference in color between that and that. It is very different. Actually, hold on a second. I'm going to put it. And if you underfire it and it doesn't turn blue for you, you want to put it back up and fire it some more. Okay. There. Can you see the difference? I do love this color. See? Maybe you can't see the difference in the camera. I don't know. I can see the difference. But this is definitely a robin's egg blue and not green. Okay. Might be my lighting here. All right. So let that cool. I'm going to put it on my bench block, but that's it. If you have any questions, do reach out. Oh, actually, you can see the blue there. Do reach out or shout out. Andy's been telling me your questions. Thank you for that. Actually, there it is. You can see the difference now that I'm giving you a contrast. See? Blue, green. Let that cool, and we are on our way to the third project next week. This is just another way of doing something to create interest in your enamels. You know, nothing too earth-shattering, but just sort of fun. Anyway, so what's going on Wednesday? Wednesday we are back to step-by-step surprise. We're doing the sphere project. And then on Friday, I believe we have a Zoom along because I'm not going out of town. It got canceled. So if you want to join me at the bench and just hang out, I'll post the Zoom link pretty soon here. And anyone is welcome to come hang out with us. If you're bored at your bench and need some company, that's what we are there for. We just hang out and have fun. enjoy one another's company right now while we are all still not necessarily engaging in the public. So Monday we are back for another project. Oh, I can't even think. It's got to be either the wire project or the coal connection project. I don't know. We still have a time capsule is still available if you are looking for a new Zoom project. The kits are still available. The Zoom is still available if you'd like to join us coming up here in a couple of weeks. We will be doing that. And if you'd like to sign up for it, it is on our website at theurbanbeater.com. Anyway, if you found any value in what you're seeing on these lives, do share and like our posts. And you know what? Maybe buy a download and show us your support. We really appreciate it. Or just do a little contribution. Hey, honey. Somebody just spammed us, just to let you know, on Twitch. Hey, anyway. So, that said, everybody, hey, have a great week. It's going to be a beautiful week up here in the Northeast, and I hope it is going to be pretty where you are too. We'll see you on Wednesday for Step-by-Step Surprise Spherical, and I'll send you guys all an updated instruction sheet on this one because I know there was a couple updates from that. All right. Have a good one. We'll see you.